Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Moving to Florida show. I am your host, Judson, along with co-host Mohit Bavlani. And today we are joined by Anna Olcese.
Anna is from Gainesville, Florida. So she's going to tell us a little bit about Gainesville, Florida. She's going to talk about relocation. She has her own podcast. So what's her name of her podcast again?
It is Let's Talk Real Estate with Anna Olcese.
Fantastic. So here we go.
All right, Anna Olcese, thank you so much for joining us today on the Moving to Florida show. Well, let's dive right into it. And why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. First of all, this is super cool. I've never been a guest on a podcast, so there you go. So yes, Anna Olcese. I am a native Floridian, born and raised in Miami, and attended the University of Florida, and actually found myself living back in Gainesville, Florida, a few years after I graduated, and I've been back here for like 22 years. Never thought I'd live here. I always said I would never, ever live in a town this small, and yet here we are. And so I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, actually. So that if that says anything, life here has been awesome. Been able to raise my child here, and now she won't live here, but that's okay. She doesn't live here anymore. And so through this love, I've been an entrepreneur, for many, many years. Done lots of event management and writing. I'm a writer, and then became a realtor like 6.5 years ago. And my specialty is relocation. And I think it's just because I'm so passionate about the area. I've been there, done that. I understand how difficult it is to relocate. And especially if you're coming from a big city into a town like this, which isn't that small. It's about 250,000 people, but it's still relatively small compared to LA or, New York City or whatever. So yeah. And I truly am just very passionate about relocation and helping people find their way over here. So that's what I do.
Very cool. Well, hey, that brings up something that I was going to ask you about later on in the show, but I do want to ask. I see you've mentioned being a relocation specialist before. So kind of what is a relocation specialist versus maybe your standard real estate agent?
Well, a real estate agent will find you a house to live in, and a relocation specialist will find you the lifestyle that will work for you. And so we sell the town, we sell the life that you can have here, not just a place where you can live. So there you go. That's
got it.
A sound
well
bite. You like that? Yeah.
Well said. So what are some of the best aspects of Gainesville?
Well, what I love so Gainesville has like nothing geographically really going for it. So I'm really upfront about that. No mountains, no, ocean, and none of that. However, the people are so nice here that's what sucks everybody in. It's like the Gainesville Vortex. You come here, you don't really plan on living here, and you live here the rest of your life. You just plant your roots. And one of the things that I think creates that feeling here of just niceness is that we're all from somewhere else for the most part. There are very few what people call ACRs, Alachua County residents, very few original people from Alachua County. And so it's such a diverse group of people, international. I mean, this is probably one of the most international cities that I've ever been in. And really? I travel the world all the time. My kid lives in New York City. So, I mean, it's like, I'm a big city person. And just here, like you're walking in the park and you hear every kind of language. You see every kind of person from every walk of life, young, old. There are a lot of young people here, of course, so that keeps us all young. Like I'm 83, for example. And so, anyway, it's just got this great, fresh, fun family feel that is incomparable. And so that's Gainesville. I mean, that is the heart of Gainesville, is the people of Gainesville. Fantastic. And then it's also Florida. Yes. Nice weather, usually in the winter. Exactly. Those 7 months of the year when we have glorious weather really make up for the really not glorious days, like today. So there you go.
Yeah, so we are in the
Yeah.
midst of a pretty heavy thunderstorm right now. That's what we're referring to there.
Yes, yeah, because we're not so far from one another. I mean, we're only about 2 hours away. And
Right.
so the Central Florida, Central and North Central Florida we get pummeled this time of the year. It's just like summer. That's the way it
Yep.
is.
The
Sunny
name of the game right
Florida.
here.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think,
we get those mid-afternoon thunderstorms that sometimes
yeah.
pop up and then go away all within a span of 5 minutes.
Exactly. So you have like built-in saunas outside because you can just walk outside, get a little steam bath, and then you're good. You come back in. So yeah, like I said, it keeps us young. I'm telling
Yep.
you. So there you go.
There we go. So a Florida native, I think, just like you said, the ACRs, we don't have, it seems like, a lot of Florida natives. It seems like, we
Yeah.
have people moving here from all over the country and even all over the world. So, definitely a very diverse population. But so you left
Mhm.
Miami and moved out of state and then came back to Gainesville. Is that what happened?
So born and raised in Miami. I did do my first 2 years of college there. And then I came to Gainesville to finish my last 2 years of college at the University of Florida, moved away to Atlanta in 96, and then came back to Gainesville at the end of 98. So I was gone for almost 3 years, but not quite. So yeah, pretty always in Florida for the most part, except for Atlanta. So yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I never thought I'd come back, but here we are, and happy
And
about
you
it.
love it.
But I love it. I will say, I would not want to move to Miami again, and I
Really?
won't. Oh yes, yes. This is probably as far south as I'm willing to go, and it's also so Gainesville doesn't look like most of Florida, so that's nice because we do have. Everybody who comes here kind of says, it looks more like parts of like Savannah maybe and Charleston, where like we have lots of like trees with moss and this and that, and not a lot of, well, we have palm trees, but whatever. It just doesn't feel like Florida at all. And so there's that. And then just Miami, it's fine to vacation for a day or two, but to live there full time, it's not my jam. That's all. It's just not for me personally. It's not for my husband either. And so he's from there too. So yeah, no.
All right. So speaking of weather, one thing that I've noticed is, so we're in Orlando, Mo and I, and when I leave on like a road trip or something, as I'm heading north, it's amazing how much I can see the temperature change sometimes, like say in the wintertime. So you guys, it does get maybe a little bit colder there than it does even
Yeah.
here in Orlando. Would you say that?
Oh yeah. I'd say a lot colder actually, or at least it feels it. I judge it by how much I can wear my cute winter clothing. And so this year, for example, I was able to wear my cute winter clothing a good part of the winter. And we're talking boots and like my North Face jacket and all that. So we
Wow.
got down into the 20s a few days, like several days actually. So yeah, that's like first thing in the morning, but still, we did get that. So the thing that I work with so many people who relocate here from places like Indiana, and it cracks me up because they're looking at all these houses and they're like, oh, that's so funny. It's got a fireplace. Ha ha ha. I don't need a fireplace. That's just silly. It's Florida. And that's how I laugh at them. I'm like, okay, well, and then they call me later, like, I stay friends with like all my clients, and they call me later. They're like, okay, yeah, we needed that fireplace. It was actually pretty
That's right.
chilly here in the winter. And I was like, told you.
We should have gotten that house.
Right. I've had people actually build fireplaces. Like they added fireplaces because they're like, yeah, we actually did need one. And it's just nice, it gets nice and cool. So you want the toasty fireplace to be by, on winter mornings. So there you go.
How do you overcome the objection of it just being a college town? Because Gainesville, it's not just a college town. But a lot of people who go in that mindset thinking Gainesville, UF, college town.
Sure. And I think that at one point it really was. But, it's in the same way and not on the same scale as Boston, for example, which is also a college town, if you will. But we've got the university. The university really is the catalyst for a lot of the industries that we have here and a lot of the big companies that are in town for sure. So we can't discount them as a huge, huge part of our city. But Gainesville is so much more than just the University of Florida. I mean, I always joke, it's like everybody thinks that only college students live here. And I think, well, yeah, but the college students have professors and professors have families. And so, yes, there are children here. It's not a place with just teenagers in college. And I said earlier, it's 250,000 people in our metro. So the college itself, it's 50,000 students, not all here in Gainesville, but like a total of 50,000. So, I explained to them that there are plenty of industries here that actually have no connection to the university. The company my husband runs, not university related in the least. And then we also have medical facilities. So we have huge hospitals here. Like the university itself has the 7 medical, 6, and then you've got the VA, and then North Florida Regional Medical is another giant hospital system not affiliated with the university at all. And so there are thousands and thousands of medical professionals there. Basically, if you get sick and they can't cure you in Gainesville, like you're out of luck because we have so many doctors here. And so I kind of combat it by saying all of that we do have a lot of people who are not university affiliated. Luckily, because so many people who are relocating here are with companies that are not, it's not the university that's relocating them over here, it's other companies. Right. So that right there says to them, hey, like you're coming here and you're not with the university. So yeah, it's more sophisticated than people think it is.
Right. So I'm thinking back to, other episodes that we've done of our show. I know that Gainesville has come up several times. One of the things that I recall was that the university is the biggest employer there. Do you know, does that sound correct?
It is. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Like I said, with 50,000 students and professors and staff and all that. Yeah. I mean, it is. So the state of Florida is the largest employer. It's the largest landowner also here in Gainesville. So, So property taxes are a little bit high as a result of that, because the state owns most of our land. So there's that. But yeah. And then I think probably like Publix is the second highest employer. And I'm not kidding. Like, I really do think it is Publix. So it's one of the biggest employers in the state, and there's one on every corner. So yes,
that's true.
Yeah. But I mean, would it even be Florida? Would anybody even want to live here if it wasn't for Publix? I guess, it's like it drives the desirability of the neighborhood if it's got a Publix. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Very true. Yeah. And then I think the that hospital system you mentioned that's associated with the university was another
it's
big
huge.
employer
And I do
well.
the thing is that the university system, like Shands Healthcare being part of the university system, I consider it like when people say you come here for UF or because of the university, then that actually to me it includes that. It includes the hospital system. So even though it's not like UF proper, but these people all teach at the College of Medicine or at the College of Veterinary Medicine, and they're residents and all of that. So I do consider that UF, but it is gigantic. I mean, because we've got the General Hospital, the Children's Hospital, cancer, cardio, neuro, the VA, the vet, and I don't know what else. I'm sure I've missed something, but that's like crazy how many we've got. And then North Florida Regional, like I mentioned, that has a lot of employees, but I don't think it's I don't think it's the second biggest employer. I think it's still like other industries that are not UF or medical related. Mm-hmm.
Sure, makes sense. Well, so to shift gears a little bit, something else that I'm curious about here, as I mentioned, Mo and I are in the Orlando area. We've done an episode on, the suburbs around Orlando, maybe
Mm-hmm.
somebody that doesn't want to live like downtown or in the city
Mm-hmm.
limits proper. What are
Yeah.
some different areas maybe around Gainesville that you might point
Well,
people to?
what's interesting is that Gainesville is so big in of itself, actually. And so the downtown area is actually pretty small, and even the university area is relatively small compared to the rest. So Gainesville's in Alachua County, and Alachua County itself, most of it, people call it Gainesville, but it's not. And so there's Newberry and the city of Alachua and High Springs, and then there's Micanopy to the south, and then then it's like several other cities surrounding that. But that's already getting into a little bit further out than what I typically work, and so when people say, well, I don't want to live like in downtown, all that, I'm like, don't worry about it because you probably won't. Like most people don't live downtown, not to mention that downtown's very small. So you probably wouldn't live there anyhow. Or around, where the students live, most adults do not live near where the students live. But we go out. So to put in perspective, I am about 12 miles west of the university. And and I'm not in the outskirts at all. I'm very much in a very dense area of town, and it's called Jonesville. And so it's the fastest growing part of town. So when newcomers are looking at Gainesville, this is one of the areas where they really focus on, because just around me, within a 1 mile radius, there are 12 subdivisions either being newly built or being added on to. So that speaks volumes as to the growth that we're experiencing here. And so this is most of it. But then to the north and there's a little bit, and definitely to the south as well. So when people come here, when I take them on a relocation tour, what I say to them is every area of town has its little personality and quirks, and downtown's funky and artsy. The Millhopper area is really naturey and granola. And then you've got the Jonesville area that's I'm not saying it's like Orlando, because it's still different than Orlando in terms of the amount of growth naturally, but it's more like that. It's more like Orlando or Atlanta or that bigger city sprawl that we see, in other parts of Florida or Georgia or whatever. Awesome. I don't know if that answered you.
No, you did. I wanted to ask you, how did COVID affect your market last year versus what it is looking like this year?
It didn't affect it negatively, that's for sure, because we continued to work, as did you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All of the, we're essential workers. We continued to work in terms of relocation. The university kind of slowed down a little bit in terms of bringing people in, but that actually didn't stop me, because I've been so accustomed to doing virtual stuff anyway with relocation clients always, that it was business as usual. For the most part. I know a lot of agents had their best years on record last year. And I know, which is just, there you go. And congrats. Yeah. And so I intentionally slowed down last year, but I knew I was going to do that in 2019. I knew that 2020 was going to be like that for me personally, just because my kid graduated from high school and there were just so many things going on. And then boom, then this also added a layer to it. So my personal business wasn't as huge as it had been other years, but that was by design, not by default. Okay. And then this year, it's just been like how I've never seen it, the amount of activity, the bidding wars. I've been fortunate to have more listings than ever, which is nice, because you want to be on that side versus the other side lately. And so I've closed 20 something homes this year so far, and it's only June. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. Just very happy. feeling hashtag blessed, whatever, I'm feeling, feel very blessed about it. So not to sound super cliche, but yeah,
Hashtag listing agent right there.
that's it.
Yeah. Well, hey, so as a listing agent, I'm curious if you've seen something, because I know before we came on and started recording, Mo was looking up some statistics about Gainesville, and Mo, one of the things you saw was a pretty big increase in cash purchases.
Cash purchases. They were up about 160% from last year. Are you seeing that over there as well? I was just not looking at Gainesville. I was looking at Florida statewide. So I personally saw a lot more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and cash at all sorts of price points, which is what the interesting thing is. There's so much more cash in the system in general right now. And so people have more disposable income. I guess not income. I don't know. They have a lot of money. And so there's that. And I think the cash may have been influenced by the fact that people were coming here from California and other states that, they wanted, and especially New York, the Northeast, like they totally wanted like sunshine and outdoor space. So most likely it was affected by that. But yes, I've had several cash transactions so far this year, and I'm sure I'll have others. So yeah, it's wild. It's a lot of money. I always think, I don't know why you would pay cash. And I think in part the cash thing has to do with the fact that there were so many offers, like people were making multiple offers, and cash is king, or at least the perception is that it is king.
Right.
And so people were using it as leverage when they were making multiple offers. But in reality, I would say if I were to purchase a house right now, I don't think I'd use cash, because it's like free money right now. Like the
interest rates are incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if I'm going to get a 2.5% interest rate, somebody I know got 2.3.
Wow.
It's crazy. And yeah. And so why not? Why wouldn't you do that? As long as your credit is, as long as you're a stable buyer and they know that, then I feel like it doesn't matter, doesn't matter if you're cash or conventional. I mean, we're not going to go crazy and go into like if you're FHA or something like that. That gets a little bit riskier. But if you're doing 20% down or something like that, why not?
Right. Where did you see the biggest influx of people coming in this year so far?
Oh boy, that's a very good question, because I didn't keep track in terms. Again, I work relocation, so I get people coming in from all over all the time. And so we have a huge biotech presence here. Biotech is one of Gainesville's largest industries. We have the world's best biotechnology incubator here. So it is, which most people don't know that, but it is. It's like the Sid Martin Biotech Incubator is the world's best for like 3 or 4 years at least running. So it brings huge amounts of biotech people here who are coming often from places like Indiana, because Indiana has a big biotech presence. So I do see an influx from Indiana, but that's just a normal thing. This year I've gotten some people as like from the university, who came from like Baltimore. We've gotten, I got a couple from San Francisco. And again, I don't think these were necessarily COVID related moves. I think they were just going to do it anyway, and they did. So yeah.
Yeah, we got a huge influx of Californians in Orlando, especially. Californians just came in droves. They saw the prices of homes here, and they're like, "I can buy 6 of these." I was like,
exactly.
Like $1.4 million over in California will get you maybe about 1,700 square foot house.
Oh, at least, I mean, and that's a good one, because you get you a shack basically. Yeah,
I can buy 4 of these over here. So yeah, we got a huge amount of Californians that came in Orlando. So knock on wood, some of them came straight to one of us. It got some homes from us.
Fantastic. Good. Congrats.
Oh, we can hear them rain now. I don't know if you guys can hear it there, but we're starting to get that.
It's pouring out there.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear it, but I'll get my own soon anyway. So,
And once it leaves us, it comes straight to you guys.
Yeah. Oh, it will. It'll just like cross the state or go up and hit us.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, and I've got something else that our listeners always want to know. This they always ask us this when they're looking at moving somewhere because we have so many beaches in Florida. What is the nearest beach to you there in
So
Gainesville?
when we're saying beach, we're talking beach, not ocean, right? Because ocean,
I'd say
there's
give
a
us
difference.
both.
Right. There's a difference.
Yes.
Okay. So the closest ocean would be the Gulf, I guess. And then that's Cedar Key, which is like 45 minutes away to the west. And then, but I go to Crescent Beach, which is part of St. Augustine, and that's about an hour and 45 minutes away. So I'd say approximately 2 hours to an actual beach, feet in the sand. What I like about Crescent Beach is that you actually can park on the sand and just. My husband actually got a Jeep for that very reason.
For that purpose.
He says it was for our daughter,
Right.
but that's totally not true because he got it in May and she graduated in May and then left to New York City. So I'm like 100% sure it wasn't for her. And it was just a great excuse to get a Jeep to go on to Crescent Beach. And so Crescent Beach is definitely where we like to go. And just, and that's for anybody who doesn't know, who's listening, who doesn't know, that's about it's like half an hour, not even south of St. Augustine. So you can go like to downtown St. Augustine and enjoy, the historic areas, but then also be on the beach and enjoy the beautiful Atlantic. So, it's, yeah.
Yes,
So
indeed.
Gainesville's 2 hours from everything, 2 hours from Orlando, 2 hours from
Right.
Tampa, 2 hours from Jacksonville, 2 hours from the beach. And
Right.
it's just, yeah, we're close to everything.
And we think in Orlando, we're centralized. You guys are more centralized than we are.
I think a little bit. I mean, in terms
Right.
of big cities in Florida, yeah,
Right.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then what
Yeah.
about, was it Cedar Key on the Gulf? Is that what you mentioned?
Yeah, Cedar Key. So Cedar Key. Go
No,
ahead.
I'm curious what, what would a day at Cedar Key look like? Is that something that somebody might do if they wanted to get on the water?
I think they would. Not me, but I think someone would. A person would. So, okay. So I've been, I kid. Anybody who knows me knows I am not a nature person, which is fine. I was,
Same.
yeah, see? And so I'm a city person. But that should give hope to anybody who's from a city who moves here, because if I'm a city person and I've been here for 22 years, then that says that it's pretty cool. So anyway, but getting back to Cedar Key. So Cedar Key, I am losing my scarf. So Cedar Key it's a big like fishing and boating town. So it kind of looks like something out of Jaws. Like little Amityville, like little restaurants on the water, little fishing boats, not a beach though. So It's definitely a key, and it's out. Like it's only 45 minutes away, but you feel like you're really somewhere else. And like I know that, you can go canoeing and it's really, really pretty. I mean, and you can see the sunset. So that's nice. I'd say it's a great day trip. But what most people like to do here in terms of day trips and water-related day trips are the springs. So if anybody's not familiar with this area, and like Gainesville High Springs, which is part of Alachua County, is known for its springs. And these are just freshwater springs, about 72 degrees all year long. And they're clear and they're beautiful. Yes. They're crystal clear. So I think that it's the cave diving capital of the country or something like that. Yep. So lots of cave diving. And then we have a place in Williston, which is also just west of here. And it's called Devil's Den. Yes. And it reminds me, so anybody who's been to Mexico, to Cancun, they have these things called cenotes, which are like underground, like the caves on top. It reminds me, if anybody's older and remembers the Goonies, yes. It kind of reminds me of like where the pirate ship was. So it's right. Like that kind of like feel where there's like a cave and you're in but you can be in the water, just not underwater.
Right.
And it's beautiful. It's like this blue, like this very cool blue water. And anyway, so it's just one example of the many springs and watering holes, I guess, which is what Alachua means, the watering hole.
The watering hole.
Oh, very good.
The watering hole. That was the Native American name, Alachua, Watch me be wrong. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm pretty sure it is though.
We're gonna get one of our
listeners.
listeners come after us for it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. They can come after me. It's fine. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it
But
means.
yes,
So yeah.
I've checked out a lot of the springs here around Central Florida, but Devil's Den is one of those that I've seen lots of pictures of. It looks very, very cool. So that's definitely on my bucket list to check out.
Yeah, it is. I'm honest, like I have not been there, but again, that goes back to my nature thing.
Right.
But I have been, but I know so many people who have and love it. And I've seen so many pictures that I actually want to go there. It was even like featured on Travel Insider or one of those like Facebook groups or whatever. Anyway, so it's really cool. But I have been to the springs. I have.
Very good.
And they are not riddled with alligators. There are no alligators all over the springs. So you don't have to worry about that. The occasional water moccasin, but that's fine. It doesn't, that'll swim away. It's fine.
That's right. They are more scared of you than you are of them. That's what they say anyway.
I don't know about that. I got to tell you.
So Anna, I am the nature person. I've been to, as I said, many of the springs around here. I think I've talked about them on the show so much. Mo was telling me earlier that he tried to take his kids to them and they shot him down. So
I was like, you know what? Let's do something with nature. Let's go out to the springs because everyone talks about them. And my kids looked at me. He's like, "You crazy, bro."
Your kids, yeah.
My kids are city kids too. They take after me and my wife. So my kids are like, no, they got amoebas over there.
Right? Though? No, they don't. You'll be fine. But yeah, your kids are like my kid, like for sure. Maybe they'll live in New York City too one day. Who knows?
I'm originally from Chicago, so my kids want to go to Chicago. So.
Totally, I get that.
There you go. Well,
so we're gonna change it up a little bit, unless you have another question.
Go ahead, Mo.
I wanted to ask you, what made you start podcasting?
Okay, so I have a background in like acting and I don't know, theater stuff and all that. And I had done some.
Were you the drama student? Were you the drama student?
I was the drama student. I was the drama geek in my high school, like totally friendless. Yeah, that's me. No. You're right. And so it's okay. You did not open up an old wound. I am totally going to be fine. We're okay. So anyhow, no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I've always done theater. I love it. Grew up doing it. And so I had that background already going on. And then we thought it would be a great way to let people know about Gainesville because of what I specialize in. And so we thought, well, let's let people know about Gainesville. Let's teach people about real estate in general, the whole process. And then it's kind of just continued into something where now we have international guests on. And so we're telling people how they can relocate to Italy and London and all that. So that's been really cool to be able to get connections all over the world. And now it's just like, I can't stop because I started. So now I have to keep going. I have to have a podcast forever and ever.
Right.
It's addicting and it's exhausting. I'm sure you guys find the same, just to have it every week. I mean, we do it every week. So it's like every single week. Yeah. And but I have a great production team and I most certainly don't do it by myself. I do what I'm doing now for my own podcast. And that is the level of my involvement. And then I just walk away and they do everything else on the back end. So,
that's fantastic. We might have to do that in the future.
I strongly recommend it.
We are definitely working towards that for sure.
Yeah.
So your podcast is called Let's Talk Real Estate with Anna Olcese. Is that correct?
It is. That is correct. It is. It's Let's Talk Real Estate. And for now it's about real estate, and we may have other Let's Talk podcasts in the future, but right now this is the one that we've got. And I love doing it. I really do. It's really interesting because you meet so many cool people.
Right.
And sometimes you learn yourself, like when I've had lenders on and they've been talking about new programs or even the insurance people on. And it really streamlines the buyer and seller process, for people who are first-time buyers or sellers, or even first-timers here in Florida. I'm just like, hey, so go and listen to episode blah, 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 blah. And I just send them a list of them, and they do. And that's awesome, because then it's not that I don't want to spend time telling people, but actually this is like coming from the authorities,
right.
telling them about the different, whatever, the different financing options or whatever. So it's been helpful, actually, to a certain degree. And yes, so let's talk real estate.
There you go.
And I look forward to having you guys on my show.
Oh, looking forward to it.
Good.
So, any words of wisdom to us newbies in podcasts? We've only been doing it for about a year. Yeah, just a year. And just some more words of wisdom will definitely go a long way.
Well, I've also only been doing it. Well, I guess a year and a half. So I've got half a year on you. I've done it for 50% longer than you have.
There you go.
I think higher production staff were the words of wisdom.
There you go.
Yeah, got it. I have very nice people who are willing to do a lot for you and that go above and beyond, really. I'd say consistency is key. A high quality of guests, which you're not always going to have the most amazing, like leaders in their industries and this and that, but everybody has a story. Everybody has something that they can share with you. And so just making sure that you do that. But I go back to consistency. We have seasons. So we're actually about to wrap up season 2, and we've already started recording season 3, but also giving yourself that break, because it is difficult sometimes to have this taking up a lot of your time. It is more time consuming than people think it is. So I actually outsourced the podcasting production part of it at first. So my first, the first half year, it was a production company called Podcast Central. And then I brought it in-house. And so I have a producer, her name's Jasmine. She does the production of it in-house. She also does like 1,000 other things. She's amazing. So she's also like my right-hand person. and then I have a marketing team that does all the marketing for it. So they do all the social media and they post, and it's, like I said, it's a lot of work. Get as much help as you can.
Yeah.
Be in a college town. There you go. You see my marketing team. So Jasmine's like a full adult, like she's not in college. But
I was going to say, are you poaching students? Is that what it is?
I mean, I'm not saying that I am, but I am. And so, yeah. Hey, look, you put the word out there, and they come to you, which is great. But yeah, so I have 2 college students. One's about to graduate, actually, but 2 college students who run our social media and marketing, and they're phenomenal. I mean, you can't. They know so much more than we do.
They do
about all of that. It's crazy.
We may have to go to UCF.
There we go.
Yeah, go to UCF. I mean, it's like no UF, but
I know.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Half my family went to UF, so I get it all the time.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to knock the other universities. I'm a Gator, So.
Very good. Well, we hope that everybody goes and checks out your podcast. Let's Talk Real Estate with Anna Olcese. It sounds like you got some good, tips and pointers on there that would be very beneficial for people looking at moving to Florida. But if you don't mind sharing, where else could our audience, if they wanted to, maybe if they're planning on moving to Gainesville and they wanted to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
Well, you can send me an email. So shoot me an email to anna@segwayre.com, and you can, I'm sure, post that information and everything. My website's annaolcese.com is what will lead to the podcast and to Segway, which is my relocation company, because I have a relocation company, or recruitment relocation stuff company, independent of the real estate portion of it. And then I've got, then I am a realtor with Engel and Volkers in Gainesville. So you can reach my real estate website through that main portal. So yeah, just go there, or in social media, Segway RE. We're Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So we're huge on TikTok now. that's what happens when a 22-year-old tells you to just start talking in front of a phone. And I'm just like, what? She's like, just do it. I'm like, okay. So yeah. But yeah, social media, man, it's just amazing.
That's
like
great. Yeah.
Do you guys get, business from that, from doing social media and your podcast and everything?
Yeah.
Get that kind of recognition?
Yeah, I think the organic way of doing social media is the best way, I think, versus throwing out ads. Because when I first started in the company, my first broker was like, yeah, do a ton of ads on Facebook, this and that. Yeah, I was like, you know what? When we started doing this organically, it just blew up. I think it's a better transition than throwing money at ads.
For sure. Well, it's like paying for leads versus just cultivating them through relationships. And people need to know who you are. And social media just helps you convey that so much better than any ad can. So if people want to learn about Gainesville, but they also want to, quote, meet me on social media, I am who I am. So you can find me on social media. There is nothing fancy about it.
That's right. Well, we are not on TikTok yet, but I think that is the next thing on our agenda is getting on TikTok. So we need to go hire a college student maybe to force us to do it.
That's it. That's right.
Well, we want to thank you for being on our show. It was fantastic having you here. Fantastic learning from you. Fantastic everything. Everything was great. Great.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for wanting to know about Gainesville. And I look forward to showing you guys around. If you find yourself not in the Springs, but like in the city, if you find yourself in the Springs, I have people on my team who will show you.
And we'll go check out Devil's Den.
Nature lovers.
That's
it. Very
All
good.
right, Anna. Thank you so much.
All right. Great, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
We want to hear from you. You can reach us on our Moving to Florida show hotline by dropping a voicemail or texting us at 407-900-5859. That's 407-900-5859. Or drop us a DM on Facebook or Instagram at Moving to Florida Show. And for Twitter, our handle is Moving to FL Show. If you'd like to connect with us, if you have any questions, or if you need a realtor in Florida, you can reach us at movingtofloridashow@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to our show if you like the content, so it would automatically download to your device and get you one step closer to moving to Florida.